Expressing Through Intuition, the Law of Free Will. Brought to you by Holistic Literary. In life, we often find ourselves at crossroads, torn between the familiar paths we've always walked and a quiet yet persistent voice calling us toward something greater. This voice, our intuition, is a divine gift that carries us toward our true purpose, while free will empowers us to make choices that shape our destiny. In Expressing Through Intuition, the Law of Free Will, we explore how these two powerful forces intertwine, guiding us to live with intention, clarity, and authenticity. Drawing inspiration from the teachings of Joyce Meyer and medium TinaLSpalding, this audiobook offers a holistic understanding of how intuition and free will work together to create a life aligned with our deepest truth. Joyce Meyer's empowering messages of personal growth and resilience remind us that we are not victims of our circumstances. Through the choices we make, we can rise above challenges and live purposefully. Similarly, TinaLSpalding's mediumship brings forth wisdom from higher realms, emphasizing that our inner guidance system is always active, offering insights from our soul's perspective. At its core, this work encourages you to trust your intuition, the inner knowing that comes from a place of spiritual wisdom, beyond logic or external influences. Intuition speaks to us in moments of stillness, through gut feelings, dreams, and signs from the universe. When we listen to it, we access a deeper connection to our soul's purpose and to the divine forces guiding our lives. But intuition alone is not enough. As Joyce Meyer often reminds us, free will gives us the power to choose how we respond to the guidance we receive. It is our responsibility to act on these insights with courage and conviction. Every choice we make is a step toward either expanding our potential or staying confined by fear and self-doubt. TinaLSpalding's work as a medium also shows us that when we honor our intuition, we connect with higher consciousness, allowing us to make decisions that align with the broader spiritual path we are meant to walk. She teaches us that free will is sacred, and when used in harmony with our intuition, it becomes a powerful tool for transformation. In Expressing Through Intuition, the Law of Free Will, you will find insights, personal stories, and practical guidance on how to strengthen your connection to your intuitive voice and how to harness your free will to live with purpose. Whether you're seeking clarity on your life's direction, healing from past experiences, or simply wanting to live more authentically, this journey will empower you to step into the fullness of who you truly are. At Holistic Literary, we believe in the profound connection between mind, body, and spirit. This audiobook is designed to guide you toward a life of spiritual alignment, personal freedom, and unwavering faith in your own inner wisdom. Together, we will explore how to live in harmony with your intuition, embrace your free will, and create a life that reflects your highest truth. Let this be the beginning of a transformative journey where every decision you make becomes a reflection of your divine essence. Key themes for Expressing Through Intuition, the Law of Free Will, inspired by the teachings of TinaLSpalding and Joyce Meyer. 1. Trusting Inner Guidance. Inspired by TinaLSpalding. Intuition is the voice of the soul, constantly offering guidance from a higher consciousness. This theme emphasizes the importance of tuning into and trusting that inner voice. TinaLSpalding's work reminds us that by quieting the mind and listening to our inner wisdom, we can access divine guidance, leading us toward the path of personal and spiritual growth. Key insight: how can we cultivate a deeper trust in our intuition to navigate life's challenges? 2. The Power of Choice and Free Will. Inspired by Joyce Meyer. Joyce Meyer emphasizes that while we are guided by God and intuition, the ultimate power lies in our ability to choose. Free will allows us to shape our lives through decisions and actions. This theme explores how making conscious, empowered choices can lead to personal freedom, healing, and transformation. Key insight: how can we align our free will with divine guidance to make choices that serve our higher good? 3. Healing through forgiveness and letting go. Inspired by Joyce Meyer. Forgiveness is a powerful spiritual tool that frees us from past hurts and emotional burdens. Joyce Meyer often teaches that forgiveness not only heals relationships, but also liberates us from anger, resentment, and pain. This theme focuses on the power of forgiveness to release us from limiting beliefs and to clear the path for personal and spiritual growth. Key insight: how can embracing forgiveness help us release the emotional baggage that holds us back? 4. Connecting with higher consciousness. Inspired by TinaLSpalding. Through mediumship and channeling, TinaLSpalding demonstrates how we can connect with higher realms of consciousness. This theme encourages us to see intuition as a bridge between our human experience and the divine, helping us to tap into wisdom beyond the physical world. By embracing this connection, we can live in alignment with our soul's purpose. Key insight: how can we use intuition as a portal to connect with higher consciousness and receive divine wisdom? 5. Overcoming self-doubt and fear. Inspired by Joyce Meyer. One of Joyce Meyer's core teachings is the importance of overcoming fear and self-doubt. Many people struggle to trust their intuition because of these inner obstacles. This theme explores how we can break free from the chains of doubt and fear, empowering ourselves to listen to and act upon our inner guidance with confidence. Key insight: how can we transcend self-doubt and fear to embrace our intuitive power fully? 6. Embracing spiritual growth and transformation. Inspired by both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding. Spiritual growth is a continual process of evolution, healing, and awakening. Both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding emphasize the need to embrace life's lessons as opportunities for transformation. This theme focuses on how living in alignment with intuition and divine will leads to profound spiritual expansion and awakening. Key insight: how can we commit to ongoing spiritual growth and transformation through intuitive living? 7. The role of faith and surrender. Inspired by Joyce Meyer. Surrendering to divine will and trusting that everything unfolds for a higher purpose is central to spiritual life. Joyce Meyer teaches the value of having faith in God's plan, even when we don't understand it. This theme delves into how faith and surrender play a vital role in following our intuition and trusting the journey of life. Key insight: how can surrendering to divine guidance deepen our faith and enrich our spiritual path? 8. Empowering yourself to live authentically. Inspired by both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding. Authenticity is key to living a fulfilled and spiritually aligned life. Both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding teach the importance of embracing our true selves and living in accordance with our values and purpose. This theme highlights how intuition helps us strip away societal expectations, guiding us to live a life that resonates with our soul's truth. Key insight: how can we harness the power of intuition and free will to live an authentic and empowered life? These themes form the core of Expressing Through Intuition, the Law of Free Will, helping us navigate our spiritual journeys with wisdom, trust, and divine alignment. Chapter 1: Trusting Inner Guidance. Inspired by TinaLSpalding. Intuition, often described as the voice of the soul, is a profound internal compass guiding us toward our highest potential. TinaLSpalding's teachings remind us that this inner wisdom is not something we must search for outside ourselves. It's always present, waiting for us to listen. The challenge for many of us lies in learning to quiet the noise of the outer world and the constant chatter of the mind, so we can truly hear and trust this voice. The power of stillness. One of the first steps in cultivating trust in our intuition is learning to embrace stillness. TinaLSpalding emphasizes that the soul's voice is gentle, often subtle, and it requires us to be quiet and present to hear it. In our fast-paced, overstimulated world, stillness is a rarity, yet it's in this space that our intuition can speak most clearly. Think about the times when you felt an inexplicable knowing, a gut feeling about a decision or situation. These are moments when your soul is speaking to you, offering divine guidance. However, if we are too busy or too preoccupied with our fears and doubts, we might miss these intuitive nudges altogether. For example, consider a time when you were at a crossroads in life, perhaps in your career, relationships, or health. You may have felt an inner pull toward one direction, but logic, fear, or external opinions swayed you otherwise. Tina teaches that learning to trust these inner nudges, even when they don't align with conventional wisdom, is key to living a life aligned with your true purpose. Quieting the mind. A common barrier to trusting our intuition is the noise of the mind. Our thoughts can be relentless, filled with doubts, fears, and endless what-ifs. Tina's teachings guide us toward recognizing the difference between the ego-driven mind and the soul's voice. The mind often operates from a place of fear, while intuition is calm, clear, and rooted in love. One way to cultivate a deeper connection with our intuition is through regular meditation. Meditation allows us to observe the mind's chatter without becoming attached to it. In this state of quiet awareness, we can discern the soul's guidance from the noise of the ego. Even 10 minutes of daily meditation can create a profound shift in how we perceive and trust our intuition. I remember once feeling torn between staying in a comfortable but unfulfilling job and pursuing a passion that felt risky. On paper, staying seemed the safer option, but deep within, I felt a pull toward the unknown. Through meditation and quiet reflection, I began to trust that inner voice, which encouraged me to take the leap. That decision led me to opportunities and personal growth I could never have imagined. It was my intuition guiding me all along. Trusting the unseen. Intuition asks us to trust the unseen, the unknown. Often, it's not about knowing the entire path ahead, but about trusting the next step. TinaLSpalding teaches that our higher self or soul has a broader perspective than our conscious mind. While we may only see what's directly in front of us, our intuition has access to a much larger picture. Consider how Tina channels messages from higher consciousness in her work as a medium. She often describes receiving information that her conscious mind doesn't fully understand in the moment, but which later proves invaluable. This requires a deep trust in the process and in the guidance she receives. In the same way, we are called to trust that our inner guidance is leading us exactly where we need to be, even if we can't see the entire path. An example of this is when you feel a strong inner pull toward a certain decision, whether it's moving to a new city, starting a relationship, or pursuing a creative passion, without knowing how it will turn out. This is intuition in action, and trusting it requires courage. Tina's work reminds us that intuition often bypasses logic, but is aligned with our soul's highest good. It may not always make sense to the rational mind, but it leads to the growth and expansion our soul desires. Practical ways to strengthen intuition. To deepen our trust in intuition, we can engage in daily practices that strengthen this connection. One technique Tina suggests is journaling. Writing down our thoughts and feelings helps us become more aware of patterns, inner nudges, and guidance that we may otherwise overlook. Ask yourself open-ended questions like, what does my soul want me to know today? Or what is the next step on my path? Then, let your intuition flow onto the page without judgment. Another powerful tool is to regularly check in with your body. Our bodies are incredibly intuitive and can often give us clear signals about the right path. When faced with a decision, notice how your body reacts. Do you feel tension, unease, or resistance? Or do you feel a sense of expansion, peace, and excitement? These physical sensations are your intuition speaking through your body. Trusting the journey. The final piece of trusting intuition is learning to surrender to the journey. We are not always meant to have all the answers at once. TinaLSpalding encourages us to trust that life is unfolding perfectly, even when it feels uncertain. Each time we follow our intuition, we strengthen our connection to our higher self, and life begins to flow with greater ease and synchronicity. In conclusion, cultivating a deep trust in our inner guidance requires us to quiet the mind, trust the unseen, and stay open to the wisdom that flows from our soul. By listening to and acting on our intuition, we can navigate life's challenges with clarity and grace, knowing that we are always being guided toward our highest potential. Key insight: trusting intuition is not about always knowing the end result. It's about having faith in the next step and trusting that our inner guidance will lead us toward growth and fulfillment. Chapter 2: The Power of Choice and Free Will. Inspired by Joyce Meyer. Joyce Meyer, through her teachings, consistently highlights the profound power of choice and the role of free will in our spiritual journey. While we are constantly guided by divine wisdom and our intuition, it's the decisions we make, driven by our free will, that determine the direction of our lives. This chapter explores the dynamic interplay between divine guidance and the human ability to choose, emphasizing that the choices we make can either align us with or distance us from our higher selves and divine purpose. The gift of free will. Free will is one of the greatest gifts given to us by God. It allows us to be active participants in our lives, shaping our experiences and reality through our decisions. Meyer stresses that even though God provides guidance, He does not force us into any path. We are responsible for the outcomes of our choices, and this responsibility is empowering when approached with conscious awareness. From my own experience, I've seen how free will can feel like both a blessing and a burden. For instance, when facing major life decisions, such as whether to stay in a job or leave a relationship, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the pressure of making the right choice. However, the beauty of free will lies in knowing that every decision, when made from a place of authenticity and alignment with divine guidance, becomes a learning experience that ultimately serves our growth. Aligning free will with divine guidance. The key to making choices that serve our higher good is learning to align our free will with divine guidance. This requires cultivating a relationship with our inner voice, our intuition, and trusting that this voice comes from a higher consciousness that always seeks our best interest. Joyce Meyer encourages us to seek God in all decisions, no matter how big or small. Through prayer, meditation, or simply quieting the mind, we can listen to divine wisdom and make choices rooted in trust rather than fear. For example, when faced with a difficult decision, I often find that taking time to meditate or pray brings clarity. Instead of rushing into a choice out of anxiety, sitting with it in stillness allows me to feel guided, as if a higher power is helping to illuminate the path. The role of personal responsibility. One of the most empowering aspects of Meyer's teachings on free will is the understanding that we are not victims of circumstance. While external events may be beyond our control, how we choose to respond is always within our power. Personal responsibility means owning both the positive and negative consequences of our decisions, which in turn fosters growth and maturity. For example, if someone chooses to forgive a past hurt instead of holding on to resentment, they are exercising their free will in a way that leads to emotional healing and peace. On the other hand, if they choose to dwell in anger, they may block their own spiritual progress. I've personally experienced both sides of this equation. There have been times when holding on to bitterness felt easier, but ultimately, it kept me stuck. Conversely, when I made the conscious choice to release and forgive, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders, opening me to new opportunities and inner peace. Making empowered choices. Meyer's teachings encourage us to make empowered, conscious decisions, choices that are not based on fear, pressure, or external expectations, but rather on what truly serves our highest good. This involves being aware of our motivations and being intentional about the actions we take. It's about choosing love over fear, faith over doubt, and purpose over comfort. For example, I've noticed that when I choose to step outside my comfort zone, whether in personal or professional endeavors, it almost always leads to growth and expansion, even if the initial step feels daunting. On the other hand, choices made out of fear, such as staying in situations that feel safe but unfulfilling, often lead to stagnation. Meyer teaches that the more we practice making empowered choices aligned with divine guidance, the more we'll experience true freedom and transformation. Practical steps for aligning free will with divine guidance. 1. Quiet the mind. Regular meditation, prayer, or mindfulness practices help quiet the noise of the mind, making it easier to hear divine guidance. 2. Consult your inner wisdom. Before making a decision, take time to check in with your intuition. Does the choice feel aligned with your deepest values and desires? 3. Seek guidance through prayer. Ask for clarity, wisdom, and discernment from God or your higher power. Be open to receiving answers in unexpected ways. 4. Evaluate your motivations. Are you making a decision based on fear, guilt, or pressure? Or is it rooted in love, faith, and trust in the divine plan? 5. Take responsibility. Own the consequences of your decisions. Whether they lead to success or failure, each outcome offers valuable lessons for growth. Conclusion: free will as a path to freedom. Free will, when aligned with divine guidance, becomes a powerful tool for living a life of authenticity, purpose, and spiritual growth. As Joyce Meyer emphasizes, the power of choice is both a responsibility and a gift, one that can lead us to healing, freedom, and transformation. By trusting our inner guidance, making conscious choices, and taking responsibility for our lives, we unlock the path to true personal and spiritual freedom. In every decision, no matter how small, lies the opportunity to align with our higher good, guided by the divine wisdom within us. Chapter 3: Healing Through Forgiveness and Letting Go. Inspired by Joyce Meyer. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful spiritual tools available to us. It has the ability to heal deep emotional wounds, transform relationships, and free us from the weight of past hurts. Joyce Meyer teaches that true forgiveness is not about condoning harmful behavior, but about releasing ourselves from the burden of anger, resentment, and pain that can hold us back from experiencing personal and spiritual freedom. In this chapter, We explore how embracing forgiveness and letting go can lead to profound healing and growth. The power of forgiveness. At its core, forgiveness is an act of liberation. It allows us to sever the emotional ties to past wrongs, freeing us from the cycle of suffering that often comes with holding onto grudges and bitterness. Joyce Meyer emphasizes that forgiveness is essential for healing, not just in our relationships with others, but also within ourselves. When we hold on to resentment, we become trapped in the past, unable to move forward or experience the fullness of life. From my own experience, I have learned that holding on to anger or pain can be like carrying a heavy backpack that weighs down every step I take. It limits my ability to embrace new opportunities and to feel joy in the present moment. But when I made the choice to forgive, whether it was forgiving someone else or even myself for past mistakes, I felt a profound sense of lightness and freedom. The process of letting go. Forgiveness is a process, and it often requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to let go of the desire for revenge or retribution. One of the key insights from Joyce Meyer's teachings is that forgiveness does not mean forgetting or pretending that the hurt never happened. Rather, it means choosing not to allow that hurt to control your emotions, thoughts, or actions anymore. For example, I remember a time when a close friend betrayed my trust. For months, I held on to the pain and bitterness, replaying the events in my mind and feeling justified in my anger. But that anger became a prison, affecting my other relationships and my own sense of peace. It wasn't until I decided to consciously forgive my friend, releasing the need for an apology or explanation, that I began to heal. The act of letting go wasn't about them. It was about my own well-being. Breaking the chains of resentment. Resentment, like unforgiveness, keeps us locked in a cycle of emotional pain. It often leads to feelings of bitterness and can even impact our physical health. Joyce Meyer teaches that when we hold on to resentment, we are giving power to those who have hurt us. We are allowing their actions to continue to affect our lives long after the actual event has passed. By choosing to forgive, we take back control of our emotional and spiritual well-being. One practical approach Meyer suggests is to pray for the person who hurt you. This might seem counterintuitive at first, especially when the wounds are fresh, but praying for someone shifts our perspective from anger to compassion. It allows us to see the situation through a lens of empathy, and in doing so, we begin to dissolve the walls of resentment. Personally, I have found this practice to be transformative. When I made the conscious choice to pray for those who wronged me, I felt my heart soften and the emotional burden gradually lifted. Healing the self through forgiveness. Forgiveness is not just about healing relationships with others, it's also about healing the relationship we have with ourselves. We often hold ourselves to unrealistic standards, and when we fall short, we carry feelings of guilt and shame. Joyce Meyer teaches that self-forgiveness is just as important as forgiving others. We must learn to extend the same grace and compassion to ourselves that we offer to those around us. For instance, many of us struggle with forgiving ourselves for past mistakes or decisions we regret. We replay those moments, criticizing ourselves for not knowing better or for acting in ways that caused harm. But self-forgiveness is about accepting our humanity and recognizing that mistakes are a natural part of growth. By letting go of self-judgment, we open ourselves to healing and allow space for new possibilities. Practical steps to embrace forgiveness. 1. Acknowledge the hurt. The first step in forgiveness is acknowledging the pain. Denying or suppressing it only prolongs the healing process. 2. Release the need for revenge. Understand that holding on to anger and the desire for retaliation only keeps you chained to the past. 3. Shift your perspective. Try to see the situation from a broader, more compassionate view. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? 4. Pray or meditate. Whether through prayer, meditation, or simply quiet reflection, ask for guidance in releasing the emotional hold the situation has on you. 5. Take your time. Forgiveness doesn't happen overnight. Be patient with yourself as you work through the emotions. 6. Forgive yourself. Remember that self-forgiveness is key to moving forward. Let go of guilt and embrace your imperfections as part of your journey. Transformational power of letting go. Letting go of the past doesn't mean we forget what happened or that we don't acknowledge the pain it caused. Instead, it means choosing not to allow those experiences to dictate our present or future. When we forgive, we create space for healing, growth, and new opportunities. Joyce Meyer teaches that letting go is a gift we give ourselves, a path to emotional freedom and spiritual renewal. In my own life, I've seen how letting go of resentment, anger, or guilt can open the door to deeper joy and fulfillment. Once we release the emotional baggage we carry, we can fully embrace the present and move forward with a sense of peace. Forgiveness is a powerful act of self-love, and through it, we find the courage to grow beyond our wounds and step into our true potential. Conclusion: forgiveness as a path to freedom. Embracing forgiveness and letting go are essential steps in our spiritual journey. As Joyce Meyer reminds us, forgiveness is not about excusing or forgetting, but about freeing ourselves from the emotional chains that keep us stuck in the past. When we choose to forgive, both others and ourselves, we create a space for healing, growth, and transformation. By releasing resentment and embracing compassion, we align ourselves with a higher purpose and move closer to the peace and fulfillment we seek. Chapter 4: Connecting with Higher Consciousness. Inspired by TinaLSpalding. The journey of connecting with higher consciousness is one of expanding our awareness beyond the limitations of the physical world and recognizing the divine guidance that is always available to us. TinaLSpalding's work as a medium and channeler shows us that intuition is the bridge to higher realms of consciousness, where we can access wisdom, insights, and clarity from the spiritual realm. Through this connection, we align more fully with our soul's purpose and live a life guided by divine intelligence. The bridge of intuition. Intuition is more than just a gut feeling. It is the language of the soul, a direct line to higher wisdom. TinaLSpalding often speaks about intuition as a tool for connecting with higher consciousness, emphasizing that this internal guidance is a way for us to receive messages from spiritual realms, guides, and even our higher selves. It is through this bridge that we can access the divine and navigate our human experience with greater clarity and purpose. From my own experience, I've learned that intuition often speaks softly, requiring a still mind and an open heart to be truly heard. It's like tuning into a radio frequency. When we are caught up in the noise of everyday life, it's easy to miss the signal. But when we take the time to quiet our minds through meditation or moments of stillness, we can begin to perceive the subtle guidance that is always available to us. Channeling divine wisdom. Spalding's mediumship and channeling work provides a powerful example of how one can access higher consciousness. Through her connection with spiritual guides, she shares messages that offer wisdom, healing, and clarity. This process of channeling is essentially an extension of intuition. On a deeper level, it's about being an open vessel through which divine wisdom can flow. While not everyone may feel called to channel in the same way, We all have the capacity to connect with higher consciousness through our intuition. One of the key insights here is that we must cultivate trust in the messages we receive. Doubt can cloud our ability to discern the truth of our intuition, but as we practice listening to that inner voice, our confidence grows. I've found that the more I trust my intuitive nudges, the clearer and more consistent they become. It's as if the universe responds to our willingness to listen by offering us even greater guidance. Techniques for connecting with higher consciousness. There are many ways to strengthen our connection to higher consciousness. Here are a few techniques inspired by both TinaLSpalding's work and my own experiences that can help us tune into divine wisdom. Meditation. Regular meditation quiets the mind, creating space for intuition and higher guidance to come through. In moments of stillness, we can more easily access the wisdom that resides beyond our everyday thoughts. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of meditation a day can make a profound difference in our ability to connect with higher consciousness. 2. Automatic writing. This is a practice often used by channelers like Spalding. In a state of relaxation or meditation, you can allow words, messages, or insights to flow through you without conscious thought. Simply sit with a notebook and write whatever comes to mind. Over time, you may notice patterns, insights, or even direct communication from higher realms. 3. Dream journaling. Our dreams can be a portal to higher consciousness, offering messages and insights from our soul and spiritual guides. Keeping a dream journal can help us track recurring themes or symbols, leading us to deeper understanding and guidance. Often, dreams are the medium through which higher consciousness communicates when we are most receptive. 4. Trust the first impulse. Intuition often speaks through the first thought or feeling we get in response to a situation. Overthinking can drown out this initial insight. Practice trusting the first impulse and notice how it feels. The more we trust and act on our intuition, the stronger it becomes. 5. Ask for guidance. Whether through prayer, meditation, or simple intention, ask your higher self or spiritual guides for guidance on a specific issue. Be open and patient. Guidance often comes in unexpected ways, through signs, synchronicities, or sudden clarity. Aligning with your soul's purpose. Connecting with higher consciousness also means aligning with your soul's purpose. Our soul came into this life with specific lessons, experiences, and contributions it sought to explore. Intuition is the compass that helps us navigate this journey, steering us toward our soul's highest calling. TinaLSpalding's teachings remind us that by trusting our connection to the divine, we can live in alignment with our deepest truth. For example, there have been moments in my life where I felt torn between two choices, unsure of which path to take. By turning inward, quieting my mind, and asking for guidance, I was able to sense the direction that felt most aligned with my soul's purpose. This inner knowing may not always make logical sense to the mind, but it resonates deeply with the heart. When we honor this connection, we find ourselves on a path of greater ease and flow. Examples from everyday life. You don't need to be a medium or spiritual teacher to experience the benefits of connecting with higher consciousness. Here are a few examples of how this connection can manifest in everyday life. Career decisions. You might receive a sudden feeling that a particular job or opportunity isn't right for you, even if on paper it seems perfect. By trusting that intuitive nudge, you avoid a situation that may not align with your soul's purpose and open the door for something better. Relationships. Intuition can guide us in relationships by helping us discern when to speak up, set boundaries, or let go. It can also offer insights into what others may need emotionally or spiritually, allowing us to connect on a deeper level. Health. Intuition can also guide us toward better health choices. For example, you may feel an inner urge to make changes in your diet, lifestyle, or self-care routine. By honoring these insights, you align more fully with your body's needs and overall well-being. Living in alignment with divine guidance. Ultimately, connecting with higher consciousness is about living in alignment with divine guidance. When we attune to our intuition, we tap into a well of wisdom that transcends the limitations of the mind. This guidance helps us make choices that are in harmony with our highest good and the greater plan for our lives. TinaLSpalding reminds us that we are never alone on this journey. Our spiritual guides, higher self, and the divine are always available to support and assist us. The key is to trust in this connection, to listen deeply, and to allow the wisdom of higher consciousness to flow through us. When we do, we live with greater clarity, peace, and purpose, knowing that we are guided every step of the way. Conclusion. Opening to divine guidance. Connecting with higher consciousness is not a mystical experience reserved for a few. It is a natural ability we all possess. By cultivating our intuition, trusting the guidance we receive, and practicing stillness, we open ourselves to the divine wisdom that is always available. As TinaLSpalding teaches, intuition is the bridge between our human experience and the divine. By embracing this connection, we live in alignment with our soul's purpose, navigating life with grace, wisdom, and trust. Chapter 5. Overcoming Self-Doubt and Fear. Inspired by Joyce Meyer. Self-doubt and fear are some of the most persistent barriers that prevent us from fully embracing our intuitive power. Joyce Meyer often teaches that fear is one of the enemy's greatest tools, keeping us locked in uncertainty, preventing growth, and holding us back from fulfilling our potential. This chapter explores how we can break free from these internal obstacles, empowering ourselves to trust and act upon our inner guidance with confidence. The roots of self-doubt and fear. Self-doubt and fear are often deeply rooted in past experiences, moments of failure, criticism, or rejection that leave imprints on our psyche. We internalize these moments, and they become stories we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough. What if I fail again? Or what will others think of me? These narratives are not reflections of our true nature, but rather constructs of the mind that limit our ability to connect with and trust our intuition. Joyce Meyer emphasizes that these feelings of doubt and fear are not only obstacles to personal growth, but also distractions from the voice of God. She teaches that God has instilled in us a spirit of strength and purpose, and by relying on faith, we can overcome these internal barriers. The key is to recognize that self-doubt and fear are illusions that keep us from stepping into the fullness of our power. Transcending fear through faith. One of the most profound ways to overcome fear and self-doubt is through faith. Meyer's work highlights the importance of trusting in a higher power, knowing that when we lean on God, we can find the courage to move beyond fear. By focusing on faith, we shift our attention away from our limitations and toward the infinite potential that lies within us. Faith allows us to recognize that fear is temporary and often rooted in false beliefs. When we place our trust in divine guidance, we gain the strength to confront our fears head-on, knowing that we are supported by a power greater than ourselves. From personal experience, I've found that the moments in life when I've been most gripped by fear were the moments that eventually led to my greatest growth. It was by stepping into the unknown, despite the fear, that I was able to experience breakthroughs and gain deeper insight into my true capabilities. This is where faith becomes essential, having the belief that no matter what happens, everything is working out for our highest good. Tools for overcoming self-doubt. Overcoming self-doubt requires both inner and outer work. Here are some practical tools inspired by Joyce Meyer's teachings that can help us break free from self-doubt and fear. 1. Affirmations. Replacing negative self-talk with positive affirmations can help rewire the mind. Affirmations such as, "I am capable," "I trust my intuition," and "I am divinely guided" can help build confidence and release the grip of self-doubt. Joyce Meyer often speaks about the power of words. What we say about ourselves shapes our reality. Using affirmations consistently can help shift our mindset from doubt to empowerment. 2. Prayer and meditation. Regularly connecting with God or a higher power through prayer can bring a sense of peace and clarity. It helps us remember that we are not navigating life alone, and that divine guidance is always available to us. Meditation can also help quiet the mind, allowing us to hear our intuition more clearly. In moments of stillness, we can recognize that our fears are often irrational and temporary. 3. Journaling. Writing down our fears and doubts can help bring them into the light. Often, when we see our thoughts on paper, they lose their power. Journaling allows us to process these emotions, identify where they come from, and challenge their validity. Joyce Meyer encourages introspection as a way to uncover the root causes of our fear, allowing us to address them head-on. 4. Taking small steps. Building confidence in our intuition requires practice. Start by taking small steps that align with your inner guidance. When we act on our intuition, even in minor decisions, we strengthen our trust in it. Each time we listen to that inner voice and see positive results, our confidence grows and self-doubt begins to dissipate. 5. Facing fear directly. Sometimes, the only way to overcome fear is to face it. Joyce Meyer emphasizes that fear will always try to hold us back, but we have the power to move forward despite it. By taking courageous action, even in the face of fear, we build resilience and discover our true strength. Each time we confront fear, it loses its hold over us. Embracing intuitive power. Once we begin to transcend self-doubt and fear, we open the door to fully embracing our intuitive power. Intuition is always guiding us, but it requires trust in ourselves and in the divine wisdom that flows through us. When we listen to and act upon our intuition, we align with our soul's path, making decisions that lead to greater fulfillment, joy, and purpose. Joyce Meyer teaches that God's plan for us is one of abundance and peace, and that by trusting in this plan, we can let go of the fears that hold us back. Intuition is part of this divine plan. It's how we receive guidance from our higher selves and from God. The more we trust this inner voice, the more clearly we will see the path ahead. Personal reflection, breaking free from self-doubt. I remember a time when I faced a major life decision, whether to leave a stable but unfulfilling job and pursue a passion that had always called to me. My mind was filled with doubt. What if I fail? What if this isn't the right path? What if I regret this? But beneath the surface of those fears, I could feel a quiet, persistent nudge from my intuition, urging me to take the leap. I prayed for guidance, and in those moments of prayer, I felt a sense of peace wash over me, a deep knowing that everything would be okay. I realized that the fear I felt was not a sign that I was on the wrong path. It was simply part of the process of growth. With faith in that inner voice and trust in divine guidance, I made the decision to follow my passion. That choice led to greater fulfillment and a deeper connection to my purpose. Conclusion: stepping into courage. Overcoming self-doubt and fear is not a one-time event, it's a journey of continuous growth. Each time we choose to listen to our intuition and act with courage, we strengthen our connection to divine guidance and empower ourselves to live more fully. As Joyce Meyer teaches, we have the power to choose faith over fear, to trust in the voice of God within us, and to break free from the limitations of self-doubt. By aligning our free will with divine guidance, we transcend the barriers of fear and step into a life of greater confidence, purpose, and spiritual growth. When we trust that we are always supported, even in the face of uncertainty, we allow ourselves to experience the fullness of our intuitive power and the freedom it brings. Chapter 6: Embracing Spiritual Growth and Transformation. Inspired by both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding. Spiritual growth is the heart of our human journey, a continuous process of evolving, healing, and awakening to deeper truths. Both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding, in their unique ways, emphasize that spiritual growth requires a commitment to living in alignment with divine guidance, embracing life's lessons as stepping stones toward transformation. This chapter delves into how we can foster ongoing spiritual growth by tuning into our intuition and making choices that align with divine will, leading to profound personal and spiritual expansion. The nature of spiritual growth. At its core, spiritual growth is a journey of expanding consciousness. It involves shedding old patterns, beliefs, and attachments that no longer serve our highest good and stepping into a more authentic, awakened version of ourselves. This process is not always easy, as it often requires confronting uncomfortable truths, letting go of past pain, and embracing vulnerability. Yet, it is through this willingness to transform that we experience the greatest breakthroughs. Joyce Meyer teaches that spiritual growth is rooted in faith and trust in God's plan. She emphasizes the importance of perseverance through challenges, viewing trials not as obstacles, but as opportunities for deeper growth. TinaLSpalding, through her channeling work, highlights the role of intuition in spiritual evolution. She reminds us that our inner guidance is constantly nudging us toward growth, urging us to listen to our soul's desires and follow the path of transformation. Both perspectives point to a key insight: spiritual growth is not a destination but a lifelong journey. It requires continuous commitment, self-reflection, and deepening trust in the divine forces that guide us. Intuition as a guide to spiritual transformation. One of the most powerful tools for spiritual growth is intuition, the inner voice that connects us to a higher realm of consciousness. TinaLSpalding teaches that intuition is a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, guiding us toward experiences and choices that foster our evolution. When we learn to trust this voice, we align with divine will, making decisions that lead to greater clarity, peace, and transformation. Intuitive living means being attuned to the subtle guidance of the soul. It's about recognizing that every experience, whether joyful or challenging, is an opportunity for growth. By listening to our intuition, we can navigate life's twists and turns with grace, knowing that each step forward brings us closer to spiritual awakening. In my own experience, I've found that the times when I've most resisted growth were often the times when my intuition was guiding me toward a transformative experience. There were moments when I knew deep down that I needed to change course or let go of something that was holding me back, but fear and attachment kept me from fully embracing the process. However, when I finally surrendered to that inner voice, trusting that it was leading me in the right direction, I experienced profound shifts, both in my inner world and in my external circumstances. Challenges as catalysts for growth. Joyce Meyer often speaks about the role of challenges in spiritual growth. She teaches that God uses difficulties to shape us, helping us develop strength, patience, and resilience. Challenges are not punishments, but catalysts for transformation. When we face adversity with faith and a willingness to learn, we emerge stronger, more compassionate, and more connected to our spiritual essence. TinaLSpalding echoes this sentiment, suggesting that every challenge we encounter is a reflection of our soul's desire for growth. She explains that we often attract situations that mirror our inner state, offering us the opportunity to heal unresolved emotions, shift limiting beliefs, and expand our consciousness. By viewing challenges through the lens of spiritual growth, we can approach them with curiosity rather than resistance, asking ourselves, "What is this experience teaching me? How can I grow from this?" For example, consider a difficult relationship that brings up feelings of anger, hurt, or betrayal. While the immediate reaction might be to avoid or blame the other person, both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding would encourage us to look within and ask, "What is this relationship showing me about myself? What wounds are being triggered, and how can I heal them?" By embracing the lesson within the challenge, we transform the experience into a powerful opportunity for growth. Practices for spiritual growth. Spiritual growth requires both inner reflection and outer action. Here are some practices inspired by the teachings of Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding that can support ongoing spiritual transformation. 1. Daily meditation and prayer. Both Meyer and Spalding emphasize the importance of daily spiritual practices to cultivate a deeper connection with the divine. Meditation helps quiet the mind, allowing us to hear the voice of intuition more clearly. Prayer, on the other hand, is a way to communicate with God or the higher realms, seeking guidance and strength. These practices keep us aligned with our spiritual path, providing clarity and direction. 2. Journaling for self-reflection. Journaling is a powerful tool for self-reflection and growth. By writing down our thoughts, emotions, and experiences, we gain insight into the patterns and beliefs that shape our lives. Joyce Meyer encourages introspection as a way to identify areas where we may be resisting growth or holding on to limiting beliefs. Journaling can also be a way to track our spiritual progress, noting the lessons learned and the changes we've experienced. 3. Surrendering control. A key aspect of spiritual growth is surrendering the need to control every aspect of our lives. Meyer teaches that we must trust God's plan and release the desire to force outcomes. TinaLSpalding echoes this, suggesting that when we surrender to the flow of life and allow our intuition to guide us, we open ourselves to greater possibilities. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that the universe is working in our favor and that everything is unfolding for our highest good. 4. Embracing change with courage. Transformation often requires stepping out of our comfort zones. Whether it's leaving a toxic situation, pursuing a new passion, or letting go of old beliefs, change can be intimidating. However, Joyce Meyer emphasizes that true growth happens when we face our fears with courage, trusting that God will provide the strength we need. TinaLSpalding adds that by following our intuition, we will be guided to make the changes that are necessary for our evolution. Embracing change with an open heart allows us to experience the freedom and joy that come with spiritual growth. Transformation in action. Real-life example. A personal example of embracing spiritual growth came during a time of significant career transition. For years, I felt a growing dissatisfaction in my work, yet I resisted making a change out of fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, and fear of losing security. But my intuition was persistent, nudging me to explore a different path that aligned with my true passions. Finally, after months of inner conflict, I chose to trust that inner voice and step into the unknown. The process was challenging, but it led to profound growth. Not only did I discover new skills and passions, but I also deepened my spiritual connection, learning to trust that when we follow our intuition, we are always supported by divine guidance. Conclusion: committing to ongoing spiritual growth. Spiritual growth is not a linear process, but a dynamic journey of expansion, healing, and transformation. Both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding remind us that life is full of opportunities for growth, and by living in alignment with our intuition and divine will, we can experience profound shifts in our consciousness and our lives. To commit to ongoing spiritual growth, we must be willing to embrace change, trust our intuition, and view every experience, whether joyful or challenging, as an opportunity for transformation. When we do, we open ourselves to the fullness of our potential, awakening to the divine wisdom that resides within us and around us. By committing to this path of growth, we not only transform our own lives, but also contribute to the healing and evolution of the collective consciousness. Chapter 7: The Role of Faith and Surrender. Inspired by Joyce Meyer. Faith and surrender are two foundational pillars of spiritual growth. In a world that often encourages us to control every aspect of our lives, the concept of letting go and trusting a higher power can feel foreign, if not downright challenging. Yet, Joyce Meyer's teachings remind us that surrendering to divine will, having faith in God's plan, and trusting that everything unfolds with purpose are keys to living a spiritually fulfilled life. This chapter explores how faith and surrender not only deepen our spiritual connection, but also help us navigate life's uncertainties with grace. The power of faith in spiritual life. At its core, faith is the belief in something greater than ourselves, a divine presence that is guiding and supporting us through every moment of life. Joyce Meyer often emphasizes that faith is not just a passive belief, but an active trust in God's plan, even when things don't make sense. Faith allows us to move forward in life with confidence, knowing that there is a higher purpose at work, even in the midst of challenges. Meyer teaches that faith grows when we surrender our fears, doubts, and need for control to God. This surrender doesn't mean giving up or becoming complacent. Rather, it means trusting that the universe has a bigger plan for us than we could ever imagine. It means accepting that, while we may not always understand why certain things happen, we trust that they are happening for our highest good. One of the most profound aspects of faith is its ability to bring peace, even in the face of uncertainty. When we cultivate faith, we release the anxiety that comes from trying to control every outcome. Instead, we trust that the divine is orchestrating events in a way that will ultimately lead to our spiritual growth and highest potential. Surrendering to divine guidance. Surrender is the spiritual practice of letting go of the need to control outcomes and trusting the flow of life. It is about recognizing that there are forces at work beyond our understanding and allowing those forces to guide us. Joyce Meyer speaks often about the importance of surrendering to God's will, emphasizing that when we try to control everything, we actually limit ourselves from experiencing the fullness of what God has in store for us. Surrendering does not mean inaction or passivity. On the contrary, it is an active state of faith. It means making the best decisions we can with the knowledge we have, while simultaneously releasing attachment to how things will turn out. In doing so, we create space for divine guidance to enter our lives and lead us toward outcomes that are often better than what we could have planned on our own. In my own experience, there have been moments when I faced situations beyond my control, whether in personal relationships or professional endeavors. The more I try to force an outcome or cling to a specific result, the more frustration and resistance I encountered. It was only when I surrendered, when I said, "I trust that whatever happens will be for the best," that things began to flow smoothly again. In surrendering, I allowed divine guidance to take the lead, and the outcome was often more aligned with my true desires than I could have imagined. Faith and intuition, a harmonious connection. Faith and intuition are intimately connected. Intuition is the voice of the soul, the inner knowing that guides us toward our highest good. But for intuition to be fully effective, we must have faith in its guidance. Without faith, we may doubt our intuitive nudges, second-guess our decisions, or become paralyzed by fear. With faith, however, we trust that our intuition is divinely inspired, and we follow it with confidence. TinaLSpalding's work on mediumship and channeling aligns with this idea, teaching that intuition is a bridge between our human experience and higher consciousness. When we surrender to divine guidance and trust our intuition, we are, in essence, aligning ourselves with God's plan. Faith allows us to trust that even when we don't fully understand the guidance we receive, it is leading us toward our highest good. How faith and surrender lead to spiritual freedom. Surrendering to divine will and cultivating faith in the process leads to a profound sense of spiritual freedom. We no longer feel the need to control every detail of our lives or to obsess over outcomes. Instead, we can relax into the flow of life, trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. This trust liberates us from the anxiety and stress that come from trying to make everything happen on our own. Joyce Meyer often speaks of the peace that comes from fully trusting in God's plan. When we surrender our will to God's will, we experience a deep sense of inner peace and security, even when life feels uncertain. This peace comes from knowing that we are not alone, that we are supported by divine forces far greater than ourselves. Surrendering during difficult times. It is often during the most challenging moments of life that we are called to surrender the most. When we face difficulties, whether in health, relationships, or finances, it is natural to want to grasp for control, to fix things according to our own understanding. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that surrender becomes most powerful. Joyce Meyer teaches that during difficult times, we must remind ourselves that God is always in control, and that our job is to trust and have faith. She encourages us to pray, asking for strength and guidance, while letting go of the need to understand or control the situation. By surrendering our struggles to God, we open ourselves to receive divine support, and we allow solutions to unfold in ways that we may not have anticipated. For example, someone facing a health crisis may feel overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty. While it's important to take practical steps toward healing, it's equally important to surrender the outcome to God's will. This surrender doesn't mean giving up on healing. Rather, it means trusting that whatever happens will ultimately serve a higher purpose, whether it's healing in this life or spiritual growth beyond it. Practices to cultivate faith and surrender. Faith and surrender are spiritual muscles that can be strengthened through practice. Here are a few ways to cultivate these qualities in your daily life. 1. Daily prayer and meditation. Prayer is an act of faith, a way to communicate with the divine and express trust in God's plan. Meditation, on the other hand, helps quiet the mind, making it easier to hear divine guidance. By incorporating both practices into your daily routine, you strengthen your connection to God and deepen your ability to surrender to divine will. 2. Affirmations of trust. Affirmations can be powerful tools for building faith. Phrases like, "I trust in God's plan," or everything is unfolding for my highest good can help shift your mindset from fear to faith. Repeating these affirmations regularly can create a sense of peace and surrender in even the most challenging situations. 3. Letting go of control. Actively practice releasing control in small ways throughout your day. Whether it's letting go of the need to micromanage a project at work or releasing expectations in a relationship, these small acts of surrender can build your faith in the divine flow of life. 4. Gratitude for the unknown. Gratitude is a form of faith in action. By expressing gratitude for the unknown, you affirm your trust in the unfolding of life. Practice saying, "I am grateful for whatever is meant to come," and notice how this attitude of surrender shifts your perspective. Conclusion: surrender as a path to spiritual freedom. In the end, faith and surrender are not just spiritual concepts. They are practices that can transform how we experience life. By trusting in divine guidance and letting go of the need to control every outcome, we open ourselves to a greater sense of peace, purpose, and spiritual freedom. Joyce Meyer's teachings remind us that faith is the foundation of a fulfilling spiritual life, and surrender is the key that unlocks the door to true freedom. When we surrender to divine will, we align ourselves with the flow of life, trusting that every experience, no matter how difficult, serves our highest good. By cultivating faith and practicing surrender, we can deepen our spiritual connection, enrich our lives, and walk the path of grace with confidence and trust. Chapter 8: Empowering Yourself to Live Authentically. Inspired by both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding. Authenticity is not just about being true to ourselves, it's about living in alignment with our highest values, purpose, and soul's truth. To live authentically is to live in such a way that every action, choice, and word reflects our true essence. Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding both emphasize that embracing authenticity leads to spiritual freedom, personal empowerment, and a life that feels deeply fulfilling. This chapter explores how we can harness the power of intuition and free will to live a life that resonates with our highest self, free from societal conditioning and expectations. The role of intuition in authentic living. Intuition is the guiding compass that constantly nudges us toward our most authentic self. It is that inner voice, a connection to our soul and the divine, which speaks truth and illuminates the path that resonates with our highest purpose. TinaLSpalding teaches that intuition helps us strip away the layers of conditioning, societal expectations, and fears that often cloud our perception of who we really are. Through intuition, we reconnect with our core, rediscovering the essence of our soul's truth. In my own life, I've found that intuition often guides me in subtle ways. It's the quiet inner knowing that arises when faced with decisions, whether large or small, that gently steers me toward the choice that feels most aligned with my inner values. There have been times when ignoring that voice led to decisions that felt disconnected or out of sync with who I truly am. It's through trusting intuition that I've come to realize how important it is to listen to that quiet guidance, which always directs me toward authenticity and fulfillment. Stripping away the masks of societal expectations. One of the greatest barriers to living authentically is the pressure to conform to societal norms and expectations. Society often imposes ideas of success, worth, and identity on us from an early age. These external influences shape how we perceive ourselves and what we believe we should do, leading many people to live lives that don't reflect their true desires or purpose. Joyce Meyer speaks extensively about the importance of rejecting the need for external approval in favor of seeking God's approval. She reminds us that living authentically is not about meeting the standards of others. It's about living in alignment with our divine purpose and trusting that God has a unique plan for each of us. When we stop striving to meet the expectations of others, we free ourselves to live a life that feels true to who we are. Living authentically often requires us to release the masks we wear in an attempt to fit in or gain approval. Whether it's the mask of success, perfection, or people-pleasing, these layers keep us disconnected from our true selves. By peeling away these masks, we create space to rediscover our true desires, passions, and purpose. Empowering choices through free will. Free will plays a vital role in living authentically. While intuition offers guidance from our higher self, it is free will that empowers us to act on that guidance. Joyce Meyer emphasizes that God has given us the power to choose, and that our choices shape the trajectory of our lives. Every decision we make has the potential to either bring us closer to our authentic selves or pull us further away. Making empowered choices means being conscious of the motives behind our decisions. Are we choosing based on fear, the need for approval, or external pressures? Or are we making choices that reflect our inner truth and divine guidance? When we make decisions from a place of authenticity, we align with our soul's purpose, and our lives become more fulfilling and meaningful. For example, if your intuition tells you that a particular career or relationship is no longer serving your highest good, you may feel the urge to stay in that situation out of fear or comfort. However, when you use your free will to make a conscious choice to follow your intuition, even if it leads you into the unknown, you empower yourself to live more authentically. In doing so, you create a life that is in harmony with your true self, rather than one dictated by fear or societal expectations. Overcoming fear and self-doubt on the path to authenticity. One of the biggest obstacles to living authentically is fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of judgment. Self-doubt can also creep in, causing us to question our intuition and whether we have the strength to follow our truth. Both Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding address the importance of overcoming these internal barriers to embrace the fullness of who we are. Joyce Meyer teaches that fear is a natural part of life, but that we can choose to walk in faith despite our fears. It's through trusting in God's plan and having faith in our inner guidance that we overcome the doubts that try to hold us back. When we cultivate faith in divine guidance and our intuition, we find the courage to live authentically, even when it requires stepping outside our comfort zone. TinaLSpalding echoes this message, reminding us that our soul's purpose is not always aligned with the comfortable or the familiar. To live authentically often requires us to take risks, to trust the unknown, and to have faith that by following our inner guidance, we are always being led toward our highest good. Living in alignment with our values and purpose. At the heart of authenticity is the alignment between our inner values and our external actions. Joyce Meyer encourages us to live in a way that reflects our core beliefs and values, rather than succumbing to the pressures of the world. When we are aligned with our values, our actions, decisions, and relationships reflect our true self, creating a sense of peace and fulfillment. For example, if one of your core values is honesty, living authentically means always choosing truth in your interactions, even when it's difficult. If you value kindness, it means treating others with compassion, even in moments of conflict. Living in alignment with your values not only brings you closer to your true self, but also fosters deeper, more meaningful connections with others. TinaLSpalding's work emphasizes that each of us has a unique soul purpose, and that living authentically involves aligning with that purpose. When we live according to our soul's calling, we experience greater joy, fulfillment, and spiritual growth. This alignment allows us to step into our power and live a life that feels truly meaningful. Practical steps to living authentically. Living authentically is a journey that requires self-awareness, courage, and intentionality. Here are some practical steps to help you embrace authenticity in your daily life. 1. Listen to your intuition. Cultivate the habit of regularly checking in with your intuition. Pay attention to the quiet inner voice that guides you toward what feels right and true for you, even if it goes against external expectations. 2. Reflect on your values. Take time to identify your core values. What matters most to you? Once you're clear on your values, evaluate your life choices, relationships, and career to see if they align with those values. 3. Release the need for approval. Practice letting go of the need to gain approval from others. Remind yourself that living authentically means being true to yourself, not conforming to what others think you should be. 4. Take empowered action. Use your free will to make choices that reflect your inner truth. When faced with a decision, ask yourself, is this choice aligned with my authentic self and my soul's purpose? 5. Embrace vulnerability. Living authentically requires vulnerability. It means showing up as your true self, even when it's uncomfortable. Embrace the courage it takes to be seen and heard for who you really are. Conclusion: the power of authentic living. Living authentically is one of the greatest acts of personal empowerment. By tuning into our intuition, making conscious choices, and aligning with our core values, we free ourselves from the constraints of societal expectations and embrace the truth of who we are. Joyce Meyer and TinaLSpalding both teach that living in alignment with our authentic selves leads to a life of purpose, fulfillment, and spiritual growth. Through authenticity, we not only empower ourselves to live more freely and joyfully, but we also inspire others to do the same. When we live as our true selves, we create a ripple effect of authenticity, inviting those around us to embrace their own truth and live with greater courage, faith, and purpose. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through expressing through intuition the law of free will. As we've explored the depths of intuition, free will, forgiveness, and authenticity, we hope you've gained profound insights and inspiration to empower your life and spiritual path. Remember, the journey to living authentically and aligning with your higher self is ongoing. Embrace your intuition, make empowered choices, and trust in the divine guidance that leads you. As you continue to explore these teachings, may you find clarity, peace, and fulfillment in every step you take. If you've enjoyed this audiobook, we invite you to subscribe to our channel for more enlightening content. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a review to help others find these valuable insights. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue bringing you content that nourishes the soul and inspires personal growth. Thank you for being a part of our holistic literary community. Until next time, may you live in alignment with your highest self and embrace the full potential of your divine journey.